team! Today we're doing the September monthly reading. Yay! I'm also recording this on my phone versus my laptop. Let me know if the quality is better, if it makes a difference, if you don't care, whatever. This also means that I have to try to remember off the top of my head the order of the zodiac signs, so that's gonna be fun. Before I turned on the camera, I got some pretty strong messaging about Tiger's Eye, so I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with this crystal or the stone, or if you have it, but it's a protective stone. It is grounding. It does help with transition, psychic development, and traveling. I'm thinking of the traveling as more like as we progress from summer to fall. I'm really feeling the fall vibes. I'm trying to enjoy the summer weather that we have right now, but I'm also looking forward to pumpkins. Alright, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have a pick a card at the end of the reading like normal, but I'm going to start us off with a collective card. This is from the Vessel Oracle deck, so that's just going to give us, a little bit of a flavor. Self-care. There you go. I just saw a meme today on Instagram that was talking about telling people that they need self-care when what they really need is community care is not helpful, and it's not productive, and it's dangerous. So thinking about community care, maybe that's a conversation we can carry on Instagram. But knowing the difference, right? Knowing when we need to take time for self, we're the ones that are able to enact the change, or whether we need support from the community, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help. All right, I'm gonna set this card up at the top here for us to refer to. Now for our sign by sign readings, I'm gonna be using the Fountain Tarot deck. If you follow my channel, you know that this is a favorite deck of mine. And now is a great time while I'm shuffling to hit the subscribe button. If you hit the bell, you'll be notified anytime that I post a video. Alright, I'm cutting the deck into 3 piles, stacking them back up, and we're going to start with Aries. Pray for me that I remember the order. 9 of Swords, reverse. I love how evocative this image is. So 9 of Swords talks about this anxiety that keeps us up at night. And that's a very particular kind of anxiety. There's these homeopathic little, they're called blue tubes. I used to take them a lot for anxiety. And I was always really struck by how specific the descriptors were. Like they had like 9 different ones. For anxiety, and that's homeopathy for you. I'm not going to get into homeopathy versus other drugs. Use the drugs that are good for you. Mental health advocacy, yay, we love it, we support it. I support you. But the reason I bring it up is that specificity, being able to name your anxiety. Just having the term anxiety is helpful, Aries, when you come across a feeling, you're like, oh, there's the anxiety again. But if you can be more specific about what is it regarding, what thought preceded its presence, what prompted you to think about it. I am hearing that you're going to need to be more mindful about your sleep cycles. You are being pulled into sort of the wormholes of the internet. So just be mindful of getting consistent sleep, even if you don't want to. If the anxiety can be solved by pre-planning, by figuring things out ahead of time, try to do as much as you can within your waking time, and then go to bed on time. And that's a good check, Aries, is to say, okay, is this a type of anxiety, a specific anxiety that can be solved with planning? And if it's not, turn it over. That's your practice, is to turn it over to whatever forces maybe out there in the universe, and say, I'm going to go to sleep on time, it's going to be, future me is going to handle it. I'm not going to say that it's going to be handled, right? Because I don't know that. But knowing when you've reached your limit about what you can do is really important. Save your resources, get your sleep. Okay. Great. So, oh my God, I'm so nervous about not getting the order. Taurus. The Hanged Man, reverse. Gosh, I love these cards. They're so beautiful. Okay, so Hanged Man, Major Arcana, something really big, significant. We are moving from summer to fall, like I mentioned previously. And there is a big shift that's going on inside of you, and it is reflected in the outer world. It's kind of interesting to see the figure in reverse, but also upside down. And we see the transition of the sun, right, from sunrise to sunset. Even though the sun does that every single day, each sunset is beautiful and spectacular, right? So there's something about your internal world that is being mimicked or also expressed in the external world. Okay, so something that you maybe has been going on for a while, this kind of internal change that you can't outrun. There's really this like stickiness going on, Taurus. It's frustrating almost for you to see this situation expressed in the outside world, because in the inside, in the internal world, you've been able to avoid it, you've been able to manage it, compartmentalize it, all of those things, and you're not able to do that right now. Maybe it's someone has been invited, you've invited or disclosed something to someone that you weren't initially intending, so you're feeling a little vulnerable. Your best bet is to lean into the change, to accept that, yes, the external world is mimicking your internal world. This is a paradigm shifting moment, right? This is no small potatoes. Just wanted to draw your attention again to our collective card of self-care, but also remembering to ask for help. That is part of caring for yourself, even if it's not always self-directed. See what I'm saying? Asking your community, inviting them into this sphere to view your transformation might feel really uncomfortable, and I'm holding space for that, and I'm recognizing you're already in it. You are already in it. So think about how you can care for yourself as you manage this transition, okay? Great work. Gemini. 5 of Wands reversed. Okay, so 5s are that adjustment card. And the 5 of Wands shows us frustration, right? Things just aren't going our way. It's the pebble in our shoe that we know it's small. We know it's tiny, but it's really hurting us. The good thing for you, Gemini, is its reversal. So we're reading this card, this reversal, as all of these sort of minor setbacks and stressors are moving into the background. It doesn't mean that they're not there. It doesn't mean that they're not happening at the same frequency, unfortunately. But it's almost as if they're just fading away. So let's focus at what is coming into your forefront. What are the things that are maybe stepping in front of this card, obscuring it? What is the joy that's coming forward? What is the focus that you're having in this moment? Okay, I would caution you as you're seeking advice about this situation. You're seeking advice about this situation, and you're going to your friends, and you're listening to them, and you're giving feedback to them, and you're trying to find the answer to your problems through other solutions. And I'm going to caution you against this because, one, it makes you an interesting conversationalist, but it's like you're mining for a solution in someone else's issue. there's a weird, maybe boundary crossing thing that might be going on there. So just check yourself on that. And also, other people might have insight into your situation, but trying to find your answer in others' experience isn't always the best way, right? It's fine to, read a self-help book, of course, and say, okay, well, what's this all about? But I would advise you to follow this idea. Take what makes sense for you and leave the rest. You're going to know what resonates with you, but just be cautious of the answers to problems are not one size fits all, okay? So if you're seeking individual advice, ask your friends, If you want to get a reading, get a reading. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Emme Tarot. But this isn't a plug. This is an encouragement to be specific with your asks. You don't need to just receive the breadcrumbs of wisdom from your interactions with other people. You're allowed to ask about you if you want to. And don't worry that brings these problems way up into the foreground, They are moving backwards because you're shifting your focus, right? We're not ignoring the problems. We're just looking at them differently, maybe from a side angle. Get what I'm saying? Cool. Cancer. 8 of Wands reverse. Lots of reversals. This is my favorite card. I know I say this like every time it comes up, but I think it's so beautiful. So, 8 of Wands. It's that rush of inspiration, that rush of motivation. We're not really sure where it brings us. I think it's interesting that in reverse, it doesn't really change the meaning. The orientation doesn't really impact what's going on in the scene or the feeling that we get from it. So, Cancer, you have experienced this intense whoosh, rush of emotions, but better said, focus, motivation towards some venture that's felt a lot clearer to you in these past months than it has probably in a long time, in a lifetime even, okay? So in September, you might be sitting here with, what the heck do I do with this? Maybe a fear that you're going to stall, that you're not going to be able to complete your goals, or that you're going to lose clarity suddenly. Kind of like Gemini, that something at the foreground is just going to fade to the background. But you have a fear about it, Cancer. So this fear that the clarity you had and the motivation you had might go away. I think it's important to sit with that fear instead of just discounting it, right? I think that does a great disservice to the fear even showing up, So sit with it, if only for a couple moments, and ask yourself, okay, if I don't have the same motivation level, what's the worst that can happen? What am I actually afraid of? What are the tangibles that I'm afraid of, right? And this piece around clarity, get clear now. When you have clarity, write some things down. You don't have to worry about losing it. I don't think that you can lose something that's within you because it is a part of you. There is this fear that we've had the great reveal and that it won't be this good anymore. And I want to say that isn't true. That's my instinct, Cancer. There is more that is in the future for you. Because with the 8 of Wands, we don't know where we're going. We just know that we are moving forward. So this is a moment to trust yourself, to trust your gut. You're not going to have all of the pieces put together. You're not going to have the grand vision. You may think that you've had it, but you haven't had it yet, okay? You're just going to keep moving forward. And don't interrogate your fear like an unwelcome guest, It might not be unwelcome, that's true, but try to ask some really meaningful questions when it's showing up, because you won't always have access to it, okay? Care about you. Leo, The Empress upright. I feel like it's the first upright card in a minute. I like her colors, matching my colors. Okay, Leo. We all know that this shift is hard. We're in Virgo season now. That's kind of a tough transition for you, okay? I love seeing our monthly card of self-care with the Empress, because the Empress checks us on our overgiving. The Empress says, okay, it's so nice and lovely to tend to a garden, but maybe I've overwatered, okay? So when we're giving and giving and giving to other people, there's that chance that we're neglecting our needs. Now, Leo has sort of not the misnomer, but the misconception that they are so self-focused that they don't focus on other people, which is total BS. I'm just going to say that right now. And you know this, Leo. So I do think it's important when this card comes up to sort of check the balance, to see where your energy is flowing. Have you been overgiving to others? Have you been maybe more isolated or more focused on the internal world, on your own internal world, right? And instead of holding it against some metric like by society, right? Hold it against your own values. How does it feel? How does it make you feel? Evaluate where your energy has been going and check in about how it makes you feel. It seems like pretty nice, concise advice. Nice, concise advice. Very fun. Which is true. And it's not necessarily easy. So once you do that check-in, I'm getting that you might need little treats to motivate you to do this, little treats to do the check-in. The reason why I said that the transition into Virgo season is tough is because it suddenly moves from this like party to like we're shopping for school supplies, and it's like, why can't I decide when I go to class, and maybe you can, and that's good, but it's a shift from moving based on your needs and what feels good towards maybe a higher perspective about how you should spend your time. So there's that shift there that maybe isn't feeling so good. So little treats to motivate you as you move along, right? And as much as you can, cater your tasks towards the times where you actually want to do those things. So maybe in the morning, you're feeling, more reflective, so do it then, and save the more math-based stuff to the afternoon or something like that. Just checking in with what works best for you and knowing that you're able to still cater to yourself even if you're doing work for other people. Figuring out those ways. Okay, Leo? All right, it's Virgo! Happy birthday! Let's see. Ooh, King of Wands. Very nice. Okay, so when we talk about kings, we're talking about external expression. And there's this focus on social responsibility and your words or your actions impacting other people, right? Virgo, love you, care about you. There's a lot of pressure right now to be the best version of us that we possibly can be. I know last month, August, right, the message was don't work so damn hard. This is a pandemic, not a residency. And this is building off of that, right? But we're in a more empowered place. So if we talk about kings and like the mastery of the suit, right? It isn't that you know everything. Please scratch that from your like responsibilities card. That's not true, okay? What makes this person in this position is their willingness to continue to show up to the problem, to show up to the question, right? To make a mistake and still show your face the next day. That is important. It's okay to be held accountable, right? This is all part of the process. So I want to ask you some questions, Virgo, about what you are making. What is this grand vision that maybe you've been cooking up? And maybe you're feeling some imposter syndrome, like the work that you're doing isn't good enough, or why should you be included, or what does your voice matter, right? Instead of just setting those questions aside, we're going to honor those questions. We're going to show up to those questions because we are the King of Wands, and we are not afraid of some questions, even questions we don't have answers to. So I want you to do a little journaling about what questions come up for you when it comes to work. This is production focused. It does feel slightly creative, right? But it might not be like art based. It might just be like what you are contributing. It is work related, whether or not that's your 9 to 5 or just what you do, like your life's work, okay? So journal about the questions that come up. Bonus points even if you don't have answers to them right away. And the goal is not to answer every single one of them this month, okay? Just keep a running list and see which ones keep popping up. Maybe tally how many times it comes up, okay? You're going to work with it later. This might be an agenda for your learning, okay? There's no expectation that you should have all the answers right now. You're awesome. Happy birthday. Enjoy your season. Amazing. After Virgo comes Libra. 2 of Wands. I always like this one because I see these like chopsticks and then I'm like, that's a huge marble. But the 2 of Wands is kind of a playful card. How can we think about a future that we'll share in a playful way? It seems almost trite to have play right now. And it's allowed to feel that way. And if that's how you're feeling, that's totally valid because it's how you're feeling. But if we think about dreaming or imagining what a future could be, that seems practical because dreams make way for action. Dreams make way for a plan. It might not be the timing that you want it to be in. This is requiring some flexibility, right? It's like you're playing a make-believe game and you're a kid and something occurs in your make-believe world that you weren't intending. So you make a new rule about it, or you develop a new superpower, you know? There has to be flexibility, Libra, in the way that you're addressing this. So if you are a planner and you have, future goals that you're really dead set on, think about what playful adjustments you might have to make, right? I think a fun way to sort of embody this would be to do a kind of play activity, right? To get out there, go for a walk with a mask, and come up with some rules, like a low-key version of parkour, or actual parkour, if you can do that. I can't, but I do it in my head sometimes. And play. So, like, if you step on the crack of the sidewalk, then you have to do X, Y, and Z, or something like that, right? Make it your own. I'm not going to dictate your make-believe. But I think watching yourself respond to stimuli in real time playfully is going to help cement something. There's this connection between the physical and the metaphorical for you right now, Libra, and I think you really need to capitalize on that, okay? It's kind of a fun assignment. I'm giving you homework. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but know that this is a really potent time, and it's okay to come up with playful ways to both reimagine and reimagine a future and a different way to get there. Okay? Yay! After Libra comes Scorpio. I'm doing pretty good at remembering these orders. Queen of Pentacles, or coins in this deck. Love her. Love her so much. So as much as we talked about kings as being external expression, queens are internal reflection, okay? And we need to stress the power of that. The kings do not have all the power because they are externalizing, right? There is plenty of power within. I mean, just think about the heart, right? That beats for our entire lifetime. There's a lot of strength in that. Strength and consistency, okay? So let's talk, Scorpio, about the Queen of Pentacles. I think of her as another iteration of the Nine of Coins, of that independence. She is feeling herself. Love this. There's that sensuality, right? People sometimes think of coins as being kind of boring or just about money instead of about sensuality and sexuality and the body. So there's definitely a call to turn inward. What are the things that bring you joy? What are the things that turn you on? Do you need to express that to someone else? Do you want to invite someone into that space? Or do you want to stay in that delicious space by yourself? Both are valid. Anything is valid. It's really important that you're validating that for yourself. It seems as though you're going to have an encounter with someone where they're going to want to be vulnerable but aren't quite sure how maybe to do that. This is a lead by example moment. How can you support them in doing that? What support have you needed to embrace these parts of yourself? Okay? You never have to do, I hope that you never have to do emotional labor that you don't want to do. Okay? So that's not what I'm asking you to do here. But there is an invitation, and we get to say yes or no to that invitation of whether or not you want to engage with someone about the sensual. Okay? There's something else here. I'm just going to take a moment, okay? I'm just focusing on the topiaries in the back. It might seem kind of like a throwaway, but thinking about the time and effort it takes to sculpt them, to have the vision of what you want, of what you need, of really establishing your sense of self in your space, in your home, outside of your home, in the land, right? How can you see yourself reflected in your surroundings? And if you can't, how can you start making that possible? This may include political action. So please, I encourage you to move forward with that if you feel called to do that, okay? You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to explore your internal landscape. You don't have to help other people experience that kind of emotional intimacy with themselves or other people or you unless you want to. That's your invitation. That's part of your power. But do take some time to think about how your external world reflects your internal world. You might want to listen to Taurus's message too. There was a connection there about internal, external. Awesome. Thanks, Scorpio. Sagittarius. Wheel of Fortune reverse. Perfect. So it's a major arcana. It's a 10. We know the cycles, they come and they go. We get a choice. Do I want to continue this cycle or make a change and try for something else, right? Okay, Sag. When I think of you, I think of movement, always. Not just travel, which is interesting. If you caught at the beginning, we were talking about Tiger's Eye, about protection and travel, but also thinking about protection through transitions of seasons, and also for you, it feels like settling into a rhythm, settling into an identity that you are finally claiming for yourself more fully, okay? So there's a lot going on here. So, Sag, with the Wheel of Fortune, we do not control the timing. It is a reminder that time is out of our hands. Sometimes we refer to like a higher power in tarot, and you never have to believe in any kind of higher power to access tarot. And sometimes I like to offer the idea that time can be a higher power, because it's literally a power that is greater than us. We can't stop time. It's just happening. So, this is a reminder that time is moving. And maybe there are things that are out of your control that you wish were in your control. Just recognizing what's in your control and what is out of your control. There is, like I said, some identity, some way of being that you are settling into. And I don't mean settling like, oh yeah, whatever, I guess it's okay. I mean like getting comfy, like leaves falling. Maybe that's not as delicious of an image for you as it is for me. But I think every time like I get to see leaves fall, it feels like I'm witnessing this true expression, this true movement of expression of their being. It feels very spiritual. So there's something that you are finally accessing for yourself, and this is so, so exciting. Thinking maybe you wish that you could have gotten here earlier. Maybe you wish you could be farther by now. But you are here, and that is important, and you are loved and cherished and cared for, okay? If you don't feel that in your everyday world, please seek out people who help you feel that. It's okay to ask for compliments. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to just ask. Care about you. After Sagittarius comes Capricorn. Strength reversed. I love this for you, Capricorn. Okay, so when we talk about strength, we talk about tenderness. We talk about a willingness to engage again and again and again, right? Last month, I don't remember who got the card of strength, but we talked about hibernation. Because in that deck, instead of a lion, there's a bear. I'm thinking about how lions spend their time in the daytime sleeping, I think. I'm trying to remember like Animal Planet. And I'm pretty sure they hunt at night. So just recognizing the cycles that are coming up for you. Knowing when to push yourself. Knowing when to rest. Knowing, what your best cycle is. So if we continue that idea of hibernation, because I think it's relevant for you too, Capricorn. This is a waking up from hibernation. You are free now to move in ways that you were not free before. You are enacting that freedom. You are choosing that freedom. You are forcing that freedom. You are choosing you. So what does this movement after hibernation look like? What do you want to be doing? I'm not interested in what you have to do. Maybe you need to be so that you actually do it. But in this moment, I'm only interested in what you want to do. That's the only thing that I care about. What do you want to do? What have all of those moments been for? What have you learned in this past 6 months that has brought you to this moment? How can you take advantage of this moment to move forward? Now that you have more ease, more room, more flexibility, more care for yourself, what do you want to do? Anytime that your brain comes back to this idea of like, oh, well, I should do this, pause it, say, thank you, but right now, that's not the question. We can come back to you later, okay? That narrative has had a chance for a while. What do you want to do? September might not see the conclusion of it, but you're starting something pretty big. Proud of you. After Capricorn comes Aquarius. Two of Cups reverse. I'm going to keep it upright just so you can look at it. Even in harshness, there is sweetness. There is still a desire within you. It's like a trick candle. It paused for a second because I had low battery. It's like a trick candle that's saying, I expected this flame to go out, and yet we're still here. So there's something pretty magical happening, and it's this desire to find partnerships in which there is equal emotional expression, in which you can show up fully as you are and all of your multitudes. Reject any story that tells you that this is not possible. Reject any story that comes from any person that says it's not possible for you. Reject that. It's untrue, and you know it. So stop entertaining it. You deserve what you want, which is respect and love and care and appreciation for the gifts that you bring to the table. Settle for nothing except what you want. Except E-X-C-E-P-T. I meant A-C-C-E-P-T. Accept. Seize it. It is for you. It might not be coming in September, but please, practicing your affirmations, light a candle, do your spell work. Seriously, stick to it. Do not give up, okay? Ask a friend if you need encouragement as you continue on to this, okay? Turn to yourself. Care for yourself, right? Invite people to care for you when you need help. But don't back down from this, okay? Pisces, yay! Queen of Cups. I love this watery card for you, Pisces. Gosh. I feel such tenderness and grief coming through her hand here. She's not pained in this image. In fact, she's slowly, with each cupful, engaging with the different parts of the water. You may be feeling emotionally overwhelmed right now, and that makes sense. I'm wondering if you can practice what she's practicing, which is to hold a cup, to fill it with the water that wants to go into the cup, the water that is available in that moment, in that space to go into the cup, into that vessel that's asking to be filled, right? And only address what is able to fit in the cup, okay? This might look like timed journaling sessions, or, you know, an old roommate of mine and a therapist, amazing person, encouraged me to draw circles in my notebook and to fill them with the thoughts and the words that I didn't want to escape, that they were contained within that circle, but they still were able to receive expression, okay? It may be overwhelming what you're experiencing right now. Please reach out for help if you need it. There are so many people who care about you. Okay, team. Whew. Take a deep breath with me. Breathe in and out. You know what? I'm going to do the Vessel Oracle deck for a pick-up card, just to get us a little different energy, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. Picking 2 cards here. And pick card A or card B. A or B. A. Change. Don't we know it? I know that you've heard it before, that change is cyclical. Growth is cyclical, okay? We're moving up and up and up and up. So if you are encountering a situation that looks oddly familiar, you're like, why am I at this lesson again? What have I done to bring me to this part? Think of it like this. You are traveling up a mountain by going around it and around it and around it, okay? So if you reach this spot again, it's going to look, you're going to see the same thing. Oh, there's the river again. But you're going to be higher up, okay? So this is like topographical, okay? So that problem or that person or that dynamic that you're encountering, yeah, it is similar. It might even be the same. But you are encountering it from a different perspective, okay? Trust that you are moving forward. You're moving up. You're moving around. Trust that you are growing. You got this. If you picked card B, I love this one. Childhood, so sweet and weird. You got the egg, you got the tax. Kind of looks like a painted Easter egg or something like that. Excuse me. I think so often society thinks of childhood as being really fragile and really tender, right? But when we're children, we don't often think that, right? It's more like, I want to play in the dirt, or I want to roughhouse, or I want to try that thing that I've never tried before. I don't care if I don't know how to do it, right? So there is this play here between the fragile and the risk. And I'm wondering if your child self stepped forward and looked at what you were interested in doing in your life, if they might be more inclined to try something before your present self is. Check in with that dynamic and say, what lessons can I learn from that impulse to go for it, right? And obviously, our brains as adults are fully developed, so we're thinking more of like, oh, I don't want to break an arm or something like that, so take precautions. Please wear a helmet, But what are the areas that you're holding yourself back because you have this expectation that you're fragile when maybe you're not? How can you give yourself more credence? You've earned it. You've earned your wisdom. It's time to use it. Thank you so much, everyone, for this lovely time together. Please like and subscribe. It helps others find this video. I post weekly, and there are monthly readings just like this. If you'd like an individual reading, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Emme Tarot. The details will be in the description, and I appreciate you so much. Let me know what resonated with you, what stuck out to you, if there was a concept or a line that really got you thinking. That would be awesome to hear. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.